James Harden just shared his side of the 2011 OKC story on Netflix's Starting Five. Everybody's talking about that Thunder team. KD, Russ, and Harden before the trade. But there's a part of that story nobody knows. I was there too. December 2011, I got the call every D-League player dreams of. A training camp invite with the Oklahoma City Thunder, the team that would go to the finals that year. And I wrote down everything that happened, day by day, in a journal. This is my side of the story. Let me take you back. December 8th, 2011. I'm in Bismarck, North Dakota, playing for the Dakota Wizards.
First quarter. For the second night in a row, Anthony Goods was on fire early. Here he gives Dakota a 7-5 lead.
The NBA lockout had just ended, and training camps were opening up across the league. Around 12 p.m., I got a call from my agent. I figured if he was calling, it had to be a training camp invite. Sure enough, he had called to tell me I received an invite to training camp with the Oklahoma City Thunder. But here's the thing, I had mixed emotions immediately because OKC had been calling about all of our players. And on top of that, my coach told me he talked to OKC's director of player personnel, and he said that he saw me at the Pan Am game some months prior and said I wasn't any good. So why do they want me now? Was this real, or was it about stealing bodies from their D-League opponent? I was so excited, yet at the same time, I was skeptical about their intentions. Bittersweet is the best way to describe it. But you know what? I didn't care. This was my shot. A flight left at 5 p.m. and I had about an hour to pack everything I had and get to the airport. I flew out with Marcus Dove, another Dakota player that also got invited to OKC's training camp. It felt good to go to camp with at least one person that I knew. The flights weren't too bad considering we had to leave from North Dakota. On both flights, all I could think about was the weekend. It's crazy that even though they told me there are no roster spots, I still think I have a chance of making the team. A million scenarios played in my head. Would I make the team? Would I get sent home? When would I get sent home? Nah, I'm making the team. I'm going to force them to sign me. My mind was all over the place. I was full of anxiousness. When we landed in Oklahoma City, a rep from the team picked us up and they took us to the hotel. And for the first time in my life as a professional, I had my own room. No roommates. My own hotel room. In the D-League, you're always sharing. It's cramped. But this was the life. It was only my first couple hours being a part of the Thunder organization, and I was already loving life. However, tomorrow was a job interview for an indefinite time. The next morning, December 9th, everything changed. 8:45 a.m., we get picked up and driven to the Thunder practice facility. And it was massive, brand new. Everything in there looked like it cost more than my D-League salary. They took us to the locker room, and my locker was right in between Kevin Durant and Eric Maynard. Kevin was lounging in his chair, so we all introduced ourselves and we took our seats. Little by little, the rest of the team began to file in. And then I saw Russell Westbrook. I played against Russ in college when he was at UCLA, so it was good to see a familiar face. But what happened next? That's when I realized how different this world was. While we all sat in the locker room, we watched SportsCenter and listened to Kevin and Russ dominate conversation. I was alarmed when I heard Russ owed Kevin and Royale Ivy $100 each for an automatic bet. Royale said, "Where's my 100?" So casually it caught me off guard. Minutes later, Russ said, "Hey, Goods, I can't wait till we play Stanford." All I was thinking in my head is, I can wait. Automatic bets in the D-League go for $5, $10, maybe $20 on the long end. I also overheard conversation about flying girls in town after double days are over. One of them mentioned it's like $1,700 to fly someone in the day of. $1,700 for a flight? I couldn't even imagine. She'd have to fly coach class messing with me even if I had the money. But then the team meeting started and reality hit again. Even when the team meeting started, I was reminded how broke I was. They were talking about $500 fines for kicking or punching a ball in practice. I'm not a hothead or anything, but that's steep for my tax bracket. I knew I'd have to be on my best behavior when practice started because that would hurt. $500 fine, that was more than some of my D-League teammates had in their bank accounts. But I wasn't there to watch. I was there to play. After meetings and physicals, which took forever, we finally made our way to the court. I showed up about 50 minutes early to shoot. I always do that though. But this time, every shot mattered. Practice started and we went through the same drills we did in the D-League. But the speed is something I'll never forget. Russell Westbrook blew by me in a closeout drill like I was standing still. Throughout the practice, I shot the ball pretty good. There was a stretch in the middle where I missed 2 shots in a row, but then I answered with 3 threes in the 4-on-4 drills. By the end of practice, I felt like this is where I belong. It's really just about opportunity. And then the next day, I got to the facility and something happened that I didn't expect. I came out to the floor to get shots up and I was greeted by one of the assistant coaches, Brian BK Keefe. BK shook my hand and told me, "You had a really good practice yesterday. Keep that up." It was good to hear that coming from him because it sounded genuine. And day 2 was even better than day 1. I'm getting comfortable, I'm making shots, I'm playing defense. And then I get another surprise during practice. At one point during practice, one of the other assistants, Maurice Cheeks, told me, "Young fella, you can play, keep working." The compliment caught me off guard because he didn't say a word to me the day before. To hear acknowledgement from him meant a lot to me. I couldn't believe it. Maurice Cheeks was a legend. I mean, my dad used to tell me stories about Maurice Cheeks when I was a kid. And now the guy I grew up hearing about is telling me I belonged. But in training camp, one bad day can end everything. Monday, December 12th, that was my worst day shooting the ball. In the scrimmages, I couldn't hit anything. I'm talking missing bad. I walked off the court frustrated. I thought I had blown it. And I was walking to the barber room because they hired a barber to come cut everybody's hair before media day, and BK found me. As I was walking to the barber room, I saw BK and he told me, "You had another good practice today." I was shocked because I thought I had a bad day, but clearly he saw something that I didn't. So the next day we had media day and we got our jerseys. I saw mine hanging in the locker room and I wanted to take a picture so bad, but I didn't want to seem like a little kid. So I waited until nobody was around. That jersey represented everything that I worked for, but I still hadn't made the team yet. Wednesday, December 14th, I walk into the facility and find out OKC traded for Lazar Hayward. That put them at 15 players, the maximum roster size. There was no room. Mathematically, there was no way I could make this team. As of now, it looks like there are absolutely no spots to make this team, but as I said when I first got here, anything can happen. We had an open scrimmage that Friday, a chance to play in front of fans. I got in about the second quarter and I had to run point, which was new for me. I didn't do anything spectacular, but I didn't mess up either. And Saturday, we flew to Dallas for a real exhibition game. Charter plane. Every seat was like 3 rows on a normal plane. Russ, Perk, Kendrick, and James were in the back gambling with a stack of 20s. This was definitely a different world. Sunday was game day, American Airlines Arena. And I didn't play a single minute. Not 1 second. I sat on the floor during the entire game because we had too many players on the bench. And I watched that entire game in my warm-ups, thinking about everybody back home who expected me to show out. The moment the buzzer sounded, I felt like my livelihood was even more day-to-day than before. All I could do was shower and go back to the court to greet my agent and my trainer that made the trip to Dallas from Houston. I refused to show the hurt I was going through. Every minute after that game, I felt like an opportunity was slipping away. Monday, December 19th, another trade happened. B.J. Mullins got traded to Charlotte for a draft pick, so now the roster sat at 16, with only 2 contracts that weren't guaranteed yet. Me and a big named Ryan Reed. I had a lot of energy going into that practice, and I knew that there were only a couple days left before the rosters had to be finalized. After practice, I got some shots up and went to get a lift, and that's when I got pulled aside. Meet Coach Brooks in his office. I knew exactly what time it was. Coach Brooks sat me down and said, "This is the part of the NBA that sucks. I have to cut you because it's a numbers game and we have 15 guys on the roster. As he was telling me this, I was disappointed, but I wasn't mad or hurt like other times I had been cut. Brooks continued, you impressed everyone on our staff, from Sam all the way down. I'll be honest with you, coming into camp, I had no idea who you were. They just told me you went to Stanford and I didn't know anything else. After a couple practices, I was like, wow, this kid can play. When you go back to the D-League, don't let this kill your confidence. Instead, let it be motivation. In order to get a call-up, you're going to have to defend and make shots because nobody is going to pull you up to take 18 shots. And then he told me to go see the GM, Sam Presti. Coach probably told you the same things I would have said. You really helped yourself here. NBA guys talk a lot, so you've planted your seed here, and this will help you get your next job. You left a great impression with everyone here, and that will go a long way. If you need us to talk to anyone on your behalf, please don't hesitate. We have nothing but good things to say about you. I shook everyone's hand, and then one of the assistants pulled me aside, Rex Kalamian. He was running on the treadmill and hopped off just to tell me something. You did an amazing job here. It just so happened that things didn't work out. Don't let that get you down. For this past week, you were an NBA player. You are an NBA player. You're going to get a call up. Just keep defending like you did here, and you will be back in the NBA. Just keep doing what you do. Then I got back to the locker room, and I wasn't expecting to see anybody, but KD and Perk were in there. I got my stuff together, and I wish KD and Perk luck on the season since I was leaving. KD said, damn, I thought they would have kept you for the year. Whether KD meant it or not, it meant something that I had people's respect on the team. I was the last cut, and just like that, it was over. I flew back to North Dakota the next morning. Back to the D-League and back to reality. But something changed in me in those 11 days. I had proven to myself and to an NBA organization that I belonged. Scott Brooks didn't know who I was when I walked in, but when I left, he knew. I was so close to my dream, and now I have to go back to my previous reality. My motivation is stronger because I was so close, yet I know I will have a grind ahead of me. James Harden talks about that OKC team in starting five. The talent, the chemistry, what could have been. He was in the middle of it all. I was on the outside looking in, but for 11 days, I got to see what he saw. I got to live that life, practice with KD and Russ, hear Mo Cheeks tell me I could play, sit in the same locker room as the guys that went to the finals that year. Most people will never know what that feels like, but I did for a moment. And even though I got cut, and even though I never played a single minute in that Dallas game, I wouldn't trade that experience for anything, because it showed me I was this close. Not luck, not politics. I earned being there. That's my side of the OKC story, the part that didn't make starting five, part that doesn't show up in box scores. But it's real, and it happened. And to everyone that's grinding in the G League, once you get that opportunity, plant that seed and make them remember your name. And if I can teach you anything that I learned from rereading this journal, I go back to what Scott Brooks said and what Coach Rex said. They both said I need to defend and make shots, and nobody's going to let me shoot 18 shots. And once I left that training camp and for the rest of my career, I threw the defense out the window and I never made it back. So reading this journal was like therapy because it showed me right there in writing why I didn't make it back to the NBA. I completely ignored what they told me to do. So I hope this inspires any G League or overseas or college player out there. Don't forget the little things. Don't forget the defense. And don't forget that the things that'll get you there are going to be the things that'll keep you there. But thanks for watching. If you want to hear more D-League stories, please drop a comment below. I'll try to share as much as possible. I mean, I got like a couple months of these journals, man. I might even just release this OKC one as a memoir or maybe a digital book or something like that. But yeah, if y'all want to hear more of this content, let me know. Please hit the like and subscribe. I really appreciate all the support, and I'll catch y'all on the next video. I'm out.